And this time I shall be reading through chapter 5. Hello, Frankenor. Hello, Lily Butler. I will be reading chapter 5. For those of you who were here in the last stream, I doubt there's going to be as many people that joined last time, but who knows? Anyway, so this is part 2, chapter 2, aka chapter 5. We will be continuing with the reading. Did I drink all my tea? I did end up drinking all of my tea. So before I actually start reading, I'm going to make myself some tea. Hello, Moana7. Thanks for joining. Just going to make myself some tea. Right. Hello, Phase Boss 1234. Thanks for joining. Hello, Ellie Kyla. Thanks for joining. I'm just waiting for the water to boil. Hello. I'm just waiting for the water to boil so I can make my tea and then proceed with the reading. So today is, I don't know if you can read that on there because of the light. This is a Rooibos tea with cinnamon, turmeric, ginger, and nutmeg. Yeah, it's a delicious tea. I just had a cup before. Yeah, just gotta wait for the water to boil, let that steep, get settled into it, and then I'll start with the reading. So we're up to chapter 5. Yeah, so far so good. There's been a lot of valuable insights delivered from this book. Yeah. And if you can, give me some likes just to attract a few more people into the lobby. Into the live, that'll be great. I think I can hear the water roaring to a boil now. Should be done almost. Awesome. Yeah. So just to let you know, first off, this won't be my main camera. I will probably be looking here at my laptop screen. I can't adjust the camera to where it needs to be because I've lost the stand. Oh wait, that's the water boiled. So there we go. Let's go make that tea. Oh, that smells divine. Absolutely divine. Absolutely divine. I probably should have a shave or whatnot. My hair is getting a bit longer than it should be. I figured my new hairstyle would be actually the kind of swept over to one side look. I feel that this works for me a bit more, apart from these like bangs down here, which I probably have to cut. But I was thinking shaving the sides and then just keeping it long on the top. Yeah. Because I'm kind of over having long hair. I've had long hair for a long time, but I'd rather not deal with all the issues. I actually had dreadlocks about 3 years ago. I had dreadlocks. They actually got down to about here. Yeah, they were fantastic, but they are a bitch, they're fucking clean, man. They stay wet for ages. Your hair will always be kind of damp unless you dry it out with like salt water or something. The roots always hurt because I've got weak roots apparently. Well, they're not weak. It's just, my hair isn't as thick as it should be. So, well, that's been about 1 minute of steeping. I'm going to let it steep for another 2 minutes or so as per the recommendations. No one's showing up in the YouTube stream at the moment, so that is okay. I might actually I'll get my Facebook going, eh? Yeah, I might as well start the Facebook stream as well, because if I don't it's kind of a waste. Like I could literally broadcast in like so many different places at once. Okay, so we have to go to here. And I got a live video. I doubt people are going to be joining all my lobbies at once, but that's okay, because I just literally need to practice. Fuck. Well, it's actually part 2. But all right, and that is that going fine. The tea has come out. Oh, the tea has come out well. I'm gonna let that sit over here. Let's take a sip just to moisten my palate. Okay, I don't have too many people in my groups, but yeah. I'm not gaming at the moment. I don't know why it comes up as gaming. I don't want the resolution. Okay, max resolution, video resolution, polls, create polls, graphics. Okay, that should be fine. I have. Hello. Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for joining. I was actually just about to start reading another chapter from this book, but since you've happened to come on to my live, I don't know if you've read this. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So I've actually just spent the last few hours today reading up to chapter 5, and I just actually sat down to have some tea, which I'm just having here, and I was going to start reading. I'm actually, I'm also streaming on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously, but I've only just started the live, so yeah. I'll start after I get my first taste of the tea.
So you're just sharing some of your knowledge then?
I'm practicing, having a bit of confidence in front of the camera. So yeah, reading through this book that I've been meaning to read to for a long time. Hopefully it pays off. Looks like a few I'm not really getting too many other viewers, but yeah, just get a taste of this tea. All right. So YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Here we go. Section 2, Chapter 2. A simple way to make a good first impression. In a dinner party in New York, one of the guests, a woman who had inherited money, was eager to make a pleasing impression on everyone. She had squandered a modest fortune on sables, diamonds, and pearls, but she hadn't done anything whatever about her face. It radiated sourness and selfishness. She didn't realize what everyone knows, namely that the expression one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back. Charles Schwab told me his smile had been worth $1 million. And he was probably understating the truth. For Schwab's personality, his charm, his ability to make people like him were almost wholly responsible for his extraordinary success. And one of the most delightful factors in his personality was a captivating smile. Actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, "I like you. You make me happy. I'm glad to see you."
That's true.
That is why dogs make such a hit. They are so glad to see us that they almost jump out of their skins. So naturally, we're glad to see them. A baby's smile has the same effect. Have you ever been in a doctor's waiting room and looked around at all the glum faces waiting impatiently to be seen? Dr. Stephen K. Sproul, a veterinarian in Raytown, Missouri, told a typical spring day when his waiting room was full of clients waiting to have their pets inoculated. No one was talking to anyone else, and all were probably thinking of a dozen things they would rather be doing than wasting time sitting in an office. He told one of our classes, there were 6 or 7 clients waiting when a young woman came in with a 9-month-old baby and a kitten. As luck would have it, she sat down next to a gentleman who was having more than a little distraught about the long wait for service. The next thing he knew, the baby just looked up at him with a great big smile that is so characteristic of babies. What did that gentleman do? Just what you and I would do, of course. He smiled back at the baby. Soon he struck up a conversation with the woman about her baby and his grandchildren. And soon the entire reception room joined in.
Oh, thank you.
And the boredom and tension were converted into pleasant and enjoyable experience. A sincere grin? No, that doesn't fool anybody. We know it is mechanical and we resent it. I am talking about a real smile. A heartwarming smile. A smile that comes from within. The kind of smile that will bring a good price in the marketplace. Professor James V. McConnell, a psychologist about the University of Michigan, expressed his feelings about a smile. People who smile, he said, tend to manage, teach, and sell more effectively. He said, and to raise the happiness of children, there's far more information in a smile than a frown. That's why encouragement is much more effective teaching device than punishment. The employment manager of a large New York department store told me she would rather hire a sales clerk who hadn't finished grade school. If he or she has a pleasant smile, than to hire a doctor of philosophy with a somber face. The effect of a smile is powerful, even when it is unseen. Telephone companies throughout the United States have a program called Phone Power, which is offered to employees who use the telephone for selling their services and products. In this program, they suggest that you smile when talking on the phone. Your smile comes through in your voice. Robert Cryer, manager of a computer department for Cincinnati, Ohio, for a Cincinnati, Ohio company, told how he had successfully found the right applicant for a hard-to-fill position. I was desperately trying to recruit a PhD in computer science for my department. I finally located a young man with ideal qualifications who was about to be graduated from Purdue University. After several phone conversations, I learned that he had several offers from other companies, many of them larger and better known than mine. I was delighted when he accepted my offer. After he started on the job, I asked him why he had chosen us over others. He paused for a long moment, and then he had said, I think it was because managers in other companies spoke on the phone in a cold, business-like manner, which made me feel like just another business transaction. Your voice sounded as if you were glad to hear from me, that you really wanted me to be a part of your organization. You can be assured I am still answering my phone with a smile. The chairman of the board of directors of one of the largest rubber companies in the United States told me that, according to his observations, people rarely succeed at anything unless they're having fun doing it. This industrial leader doesn't put much faith in the old adage that hard work alone is the magic key that will unlock the door to our desires. I have known people, he said, who succeeded because they had a rip-roaring good time conducting their business. Later, I saw those people change as the fun became work. The business had grown dull. They had lost all joy in it, and they failed. You must have a good time meeting people if you expect them to have a good time meeting you. I have asked thousands of business people to smile at someone every hour of the day for a week and then come to class and talk about the results. How did it work? Let's see. Here is a letter from William B. Steinhardt, a New York stockbroker. His case isn't isolated. In fact, it is typical of hundreds of cases. I have been married over 18 years, wrote Mr. Steinhardt, and in all that time I seldom smiled at my wife or spoke 24 words to her from the time I got up until I was ready to leave for business. I was one of the worst grouches who ever walked down Broadway. When you asked me to make a talk about my experience with smiles, I thought I would try it for a week. So the next morning, while combing my hair, I looked at my glum mug in the mirror and said to myself, Bill, you are going to wipe that scowl off that sour puss of yours today. You are going to smile, and you are going to begin right now. As I sat down to breakfast, I greeted my wife with a good morning, my dear, and smiled as I said it. You warned me that she might be surprised. Well, you underestimated her reaction. She was bewildered. She was shocked. I told her that in the future she could expect this as a regular occurrence, and I kept it up every morning. This changed attitude of mine brought more happiness into our home in the 2 months since I started than there was during the last year. This changed attitude of mine brought more happiness into our... Oh, well, I've already read that. As I leave from my office, I greet the elevator operator and the apartment house with a good morning and a smile. I greet the doorman with a smile. I'll smile at the cashier in the subway booth when I ask for change. As I stand on the floor of the stock exchange, I smile at people who recently never saw me smile. I soon found that everybody was smiling back at me. I treat those who come to me with complaints or grievances in a cheerful manner. I smile as I listen to them, and I find that adjustments are accomplished much easier. I find that smiles are bringing me dollars, many dollars every day. I share my office with another broker. One of his clerks is a likable young chap, and I was so elated about the results I was getting that I told him recently about my new philosophy of human relations. He then confessed that when I first came to share my office with his firm, he thought me to be a terrible grouch, and only recently changed his mind. He said I was really human when I smiled. I have also eliminated criticism from my system. I give appreciation and praise now instead of condemnation. I stopped talking about what I want. I am now trying to see the other person's viewpoint, and these things have literally revolutionized my life. I am a totally different man, a happier man, a richer man, richer in friendships and happiness, the only things that matter much after all. You don't feel like smiling? Then what? 2 things. First, force yourself to smile. If you are alone, force yourself to whistle or hum a tune or sing. Act as if you are already happy, and then that will tend to make you happy. Here is the way that psychologist and philosopher William James put it. Action seems to follow feeling, but really action and feeling go together. And by regulating the action which is under the more direct control of the will, we can indirectly regulate the feeling which is not. Thus, the sovereign voluntary path to cheerfulness, if cheerfulness be lost, is to sit up cheerfully and act and speak if cheerfulness were already there. Everybody in the world is seeking happiness, and if there is one sure way to find it, that is by controlling your thoughts. Happiness doesn't depend on outward conditions, it depends on inner conditions. It isn't what you have or who you are or where you are or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about. For example, two people may be in the same place doing the same thing. Both may have an equal amount of money and prestige, and yet one may be miserable and the other happy. Why? Because of a different mental attitude. I have seen just as many happy faces among poor peasants toiling with their primitive tools in the devastating heat of the tropics as I have seen in the air-conditioned offices of New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles. There is nothing either good or bad, said Shakespeare, but thinking makes it so. Abe Lincoln once remarked that most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. He was right. I saw a vivid illustration of that truth as I was walking up the stairs of a Long Island Railroad station in New York. Directly in front of me, 30 or 40 crippled boys on canes and crutches were struggling up the stairs. One boy had to be carried up. I was astonished at their laughter and gaiety. I spoke about it to one of the men in charge of the boys. "Oh yes," he said. "When a boy realizes that he is going to be crippled for life, he is shocked at first. But after he gets over the shocks, he usually resigns himself to his fate, then becomes as happy as normal boys." I felt like taking my hat off to those boys. They taught me a lesson I hope I shall never forget. Working all by oneself in a closed-off room in an office not only is lonely, but it denies one the opportunity of making friends with the employees in the company. Senora Maria Gonzalez of Guadalajara, Mexico, had such a job. She envied the shared comradeship of other people in the company as she heard their chatter and laughter. As she passed them in the hall during the first weeks of her employment, she shyly looked the other way. After a few weeks, she said to herself, "Maria, you can't expect those women to come to you. You have to go out and meet them." The next time you walked to the water cooler, she put on her brightest smile and said, "Hi, how are you today?" to each of the people she met. The effect was immediate. Smiles and hellos were returned. The hallway seemed brighter.
Hello.
The job friendlier. Acquaintanceships
Is
developed.
that your name?
Sorry, what?
I was asking you if your name is pronounced Chanel.
Yeah, it's pronounced Chanel. Yeah.
Well, you said you're practicing for talking
Yeah.
in front of people, right?
Mm.
Okay. Why? What's the purpose?
I'm trying to be more confident in front of the camera, and I want to make more better stuff for TikTok.
Hi, J Skin. Well, advice is that you maintain, I know you don't engage, as in maintain eye contact.
Yeah, eye contact. Yeah.
Yes, you're just down in the book, but I think you could work on that part of it. And you have one flat phone.
Yeah, I got the
You have
phone
one
here.
flat phone.
I got the laptop and the Facebook live stream going at the same time. So I have to look in like 3 different places and read the book. So it's a bit difficult, but yeah.
Well, if you're reading to a crowd, you would have to.
Yeah, I have to look around. Yeah, but this is the first time that I've actually read this, so I don't know the words off by heart yet. But yeah.
I know, but there's a catch to it. There's a catch to it. Like you read a few lines and you like, you know, keep 2 words out of the next sentence in your head, and then you would say that out loud, and then you look back down into the book. That's the way to do it as well.
All right. Cool thing. I'll try to keep that in mind.
Well,
Where was I to?
but I like that. I like the material of the book so far.
All right. Where was I
True
controlling?
so far. A smile can definitely change someone's day.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how much is left in this chapter. Oh, there's only 2 pages left. Okay. So I'll just put a edit here so I can edit it. All right. Where was it? All right, continuing.
Good to know, Jay. Good to know.
Acquaintanceships developed and some ripened into friendships. Her job and her life became more pleasant and interesting. Peruse this bit of sage advice from the essayist and publisher Albert Hubbard. But remember, perusing it won't do you any good unless you apply it. Whenever you go out of doors, draw the chin in, carry the crown of your head high, and fill your lungs to the utmost. Drink in the sunshine, greet your friends with a smile, and put soul into every hand clasp. Do not fear being misunderstood, and do not waste a minute thinking about your enemies. Try to fix firmly in your mind what you would like to do, and then, without veering off direction, you will move straight to the goal. Keep your mind on the great and splendid things you would like to do, and then, as the days go gliding away, you will find yourself unconsciously seizing upon the opportunities that are required for the fulfillment of your desire. Just as the coral insect takes from the running tide the elements it needs, picture in your mind the able, earnest, useful person you desire to be. And the thought hold is hourly transforming you into the particular individual. Thought is supreme. Preserve a right mental attitude, the attitude of courage, frankness, and good cheer. To think rightly is to create. All things come through desire, and every sincere prayer is answered. We become like that, on which our hearts are fixed. Carry your chin in and the crown of your head high. We are gods in the chrysalis. The ancient Chinese were a wise lot, wise in the ways of the world. They had a proverb that you and I ought to cut out and paste inside our hats. It goes like this: a man without a smiling face must not open a shop. Let me repeat that. A man without a smiling face must not open a shop. Your smile is a messenger of your goodwill. Your smile brightens the lives of all who see it. To someone who have seen a dozen people frown, scowl, or turn their faces away, your smile is like the sun breaking through the clouds, especially when that someone is under pressure from his bosses, his customers, his teachers, or parents or children. A smile can help him realize that all is not hopeless, that there is joy in the world. For some years ago, a department store in New York City, in recognition of the pressures its sales clerks were under during Christmas rush, presented the readers of its advertisements with the following homely philosophy: the value of a smile at Christmas. It costs nothing, but creates much. It enriches those who receive without impoverishing those who give. It happens in a flash, and the memory of it sometimes lasts forever. None are so rich they can get along without it, and none are so poor but are richer for its benefits. It creates happiness in the home, fosters goodwill in a business, and is the countersign of friends. It is rest to the weary, daylight to the discouraged, sunshine to the sad, and nature's best antidote for trouble. Yet it cannot be bought, begged, borrowed, or stolen, for it is something that is no earthly good to anybody till it is given away. And if in the last minute rush of Christmas, buying some of our salespeople should be too tired to give you a smile, may we ask to leave one of yours? For nobody needs a smile so much as those who have none left to give. Principle 2, smile. End of chapter. So in the discussion for this chapter, I'd have to agree with what I read. Yeah, it's a natural part of human beings. To reflect the smile that one gives you. It's almost like an instinctive response. Unless you're already in like a grumpy mood, then you're like, I don't want to look at you because you're so happy and it makes me more unhappy. But if you're just going about your day and someone smiles at you, you smile at someone on the street, naturally people who are, sort of magnanimous or cheerful, they'll smile back at you. And yeah.
Even if they don't return the smile, it does something.